Will you join me in our prayer of illumination? Living God, Christ mystery, Spirit of love, wake us to your presence. Unite what the world tears apart. Open our eyes to heaven on earth. Soften our hearts to grow in your word. Widen our lives to embody your love. We stand barefoot in grace, healed by this sacred joy, time and space. May it send us to live your kingdom into the world. Amen? Amen. Let me start with a question. What if waiting is not a delay in your life, but one of the primary ways that our lives, is formed? We don't like waiting. We optimize it. We scroll through it. We complain about it. We treat waiting like it's dead time, wasted space. But what if waiting isn't dead at all? What if waiting is alive, shaping you, shaping me, shaping us in ways we don't yet see? A few years ago, I was at General Assembly in Salt Lake City, Utah, and the team that I was working on spent literally 90+% of our time, of our entire week, wrestling with a very, very complex issue. It was historic. It was emotional. There was no quick solution. The pressure was thick. Everyone felt a responsibility to get it right. And then one of our youth advisory delegates said quietly, "We have to realize this work may extend beyond us, beyond this General Assembly." The issue didn't shrink. The urgency didn't disappear, but the anxiety loosened. We weren't responsible for finishing history. We were responsible for faithfulness as we waited in this moment. Waiting didn't mean failure. Waiting meant perspective. There are at least 3 different kinds of waiting. First, waiting that you don't know what to do, right? Waiting with which you don't know what to do about. Second, waiting because we know what to do. Someone gets this already, but we're avoiding it, right? Waiting where we know what to do, but we're avoiding it. And the third, and the hardest, is when you know exactly what to do, and you are ready to move, but the timing simply isn't right. That, the third kind, is the kind of waiting that stretches us, that grows us, that transforms our souls individually and collectively. How many people here are watching the Olympics? Okay, so the name Jordan Stolz, right, the cheesehead, right, from Wisconsin, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 2-time world record-breaking speed skater. Imagine him at the starting line. Do you see him crouched down like that? His muscles are coiled. His breath steady. his eyes are on the prize. There is nothing passive about his waiting. That is disciplined readiness. Spiritually speaking, that's the posture that we're invited to. But there's something in this, there's something in me that instead of readiness, we choose reaction, we twitch, we rush, we manufacture action and motion. In the ancient story of Exodus, Moses climbs a mountain to meet God. He leaves leaders in charge. He prepares them to handle disputes. He prepares them for conflict. He anticipates arguments, but not the drip, 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 drip of 40 days of waiting. And when the people don't know how to wait, we don't know how to wait well, we get restless and we create substitutes. In that story, the substitute is the golden calf. In our world, what is the substitute? What are the substitutes? Endless productivity, endless outrage, endless distractions. Waiting without worship becomes anxiety. Waiting without rest becomes stress. Waiting without trust becomes control. If and when we cannot tolerate waiting, we will always build something to fill the silence. This is why Sabbath matters. Sabbath is not just a day off. Sabbath is protest. It's a weekly declaration that I'm not God, and that's really good news. Rest, contrary to everything we've been told, rest is not laziness. Rest is trust in action. It's saying that the world continues turning even when I pause and breathe. Now let me take you to another mountain. Jesus brings 3 of his best friends to the mountain. Light radiates, history converges, and a voice speaks, "This is my son." It is overwhelming on steroids. And one of his friends says what most of us would say, I know it's what I would probably say, is, "This is good. Let's stay here." But the mountain is not the destination. The mountain is preparation. The story tells us that this happens 6 days later, 6 days after those same disciples were told that suffering was coming. You see, glory only happens after they hear about the cross. Because glory without suffering, it just confirms our expectations. But glory framed by suffering, that's transformation. And then they descend. No permanent mountaintop, just faithfulness in waiting. Author and activist James Baldwin once described a painter telling him about a puddle. Baldwin saw it as dirty water. The painter said, "Look again." And Baldwin saw the oil shimmering, reflecting the entire city. Later he said, he taught me how to see. That's what waiting does if we allow it. Waiting teaches us to see again. It slows us down long enough to notice what hurry hides. It humbles us enough to remember that we are not in control. It matures us enough to act without panic. Here's the danger. If we do not learn how to wait, we will, by our nature, force outcomes. We will mistake movement for faithfulness. We will build golden calves out of our impatience. So here's the invitation. Wait like the sprinter, ready, not restless. Wait like the worshiper, grounded, not anxious. Wait like someone who trusts that the world does not depend entirely on them. Your elders get this because they pull back the reins on me. It is funny, and it's true. Because waiting is not wasted time. Waiting is where the vision deepens. Waiting is where the ego loosens. Waiting is where courage grows. And sometimes the fruit of what we are building may come long after we are gone. That does not make your life or my life small. That makes our lives faithful. Friends, when you find yourself in a season of waiting, don't rush to fill the silence. Don't panic at the pause. Breathe and ask, what is forming inside me? What fear is being released? What vision is becoming clearer? Because waiting, if you embrace it, will not shrink your life. It will transform it. Amen? Amen.